Hi everyone, my name is Justin Jenkins and I am a board certified hearing instrument specialist with Mid-America Hearing in Mount Vernon, Missouri. And I just wanted to take a couple of minutes and talk to you about the differences in the behind the ear hearing instruments that we have here or that you might see um, when you're dealing with behind the ear hearing instruments. There are several different styles and types, and so I just kind of wanted to give a general idea of those and to let you know a few components and interesting parts to them to kind of distinguish between them, make it a little bit easier so that you know how to maintain them. Okay, we're going to move the camera down now. Okay, get all this done here. There we go. Okay, now what I have here is I've got several different kinds. This particular hearing instrument right here is a behind the ear. It's a high powered hearing instrument. It'll have an ear hook. This part here that is usually hard acrylic or a hard plastic that fits over the top of the ear. Then it has a larger rubber tubing, and then it'll go down to a coupler that maybe an ear mold. It could look like this one. That's a skeleton ear mold, or it could be smaller, larger. Just depends. But there's that's kind of the style of larger, more high-powered behind-the-ear hearing instruments. Okay, and then we have over here what we call a thin tube behind-the-ear hearing instrument. And the reason we call it a thin tube is because this little tube, this tube right here, is much smaller. You can tell it's smaller than the thicker tube of the BTE here. BTE stands for behind the ear, so it's it's a thinner tube than this big thick tube that you have here. So we call it a thin tube, and it has essentially the same components. It connects here to the hearing instrument with the base of it here that screws on. Okay, so it kind of screws on to the hearing instrument there. And it comes down, and then it goes down to the part that goes in your ear. And this is typically, it doesn't have to be, it can be a part that is a harder piece like this, but typically we have a soft kind of rubbery coupler dome or tip that fits in your ear. Okay. Now over here on this one, this is a newer. It's a Rexton Mosaic behind the ear hearing instrument, and the difference between it and this one here, which is the is a little older Rexton hearing instrument, is the way that they have it connected up here. This little hard piece, this is a hard plastic piece, that actually stays on the hearing instrument. Like this one here has this similar hard plastic piece, but it's all one piece with the tubing and all that together. So that all screws off. But if you're going to replace the tubing on this new Mosaic hearing instrument, this part, the part that I'm pointing to right there, which you can see, where the tubing goes in, there's just a little collar there, and that has threads on it. Okay, that whole plastic piece doesn't come off. It's just the little threaded piece. Okay, now the reason that's, and I'll separate it here and show you. See how it's just the little end, but that plastic, that hard plastic piece actually stays on there. So you have to know, the reason that's important is you have to know which one you have. And because if you tried to crank this off, if you try to take that off and unscrew it, this hard plastic piece, you'll break it. Okay, it doesn't just screw off of there. Like this one here, on this one here, see the whole piece comes off. I'll show you that. Okay, so see that comes off. You have the threads coming off of the hearing instrument here, but this whole plastic piece comes off. Okay, and the reason I bring that up is because it depends on the hearing instrument how those detach and how they come off. So if you're going to do it, you're going to do your own maintenance on those, and work with them, change those consumable parts. You have to know the difference. So if you don't know, you might want to ask your provider uh, which one you have, and make sure that you get a demonstration of how to work with those. Now, the reason I put this one in, this one is different from any of the others here. This is a receiver in the canal hearing instrument, and the reason I bring it in is because I want you to understand that there is a difference in these. This part here does not come off. Okay, you don't take this off uh, yourself. The maintenance on it is typically to clean this part down here, which is the dome part, a click dome, and maybe take this retention wire off, brush it, things like that. But you don't treat it like you do these here, because this tubing doesn't come off. And as a matter of fact, that little clear tubing there has a very fine filament wire in it. And if you twist it or you try to remove it or you do things, you can break that wire, and then you won't get any sound out of here, because this is actually the receiver, or the part that produces sound that goes in your ear. And it has to have this wire to get the signal from the hearing instrument all the way down to that box. Okay, so the whole idea is that you understand what type of hearing instruments you have with behind the ear hearing instruments, and whether you have one that has thicker tubing and a large coupler with it, or if you have something that's thin tubed, um, or and then how the thin tube attaches to the hearing instrument in case you're going to do your own consumable replacement and things like that. And then to make sure that you understand, if you have a receiver in the canal hearing instrument, that you don't remove or don't try to remove this part here, because it has a wire in it and you could break it. So that way, anyway, that kind of gives you an idea of the differences between these styles of hearing instruments. If you have any questions, feel free to call us here at Mid-America Hearing Instrument, and we will try to uh, uh, give you more information about these styles of hearing instruments, or try to help you in any way we can. So thank you very much for watching.